Uh, Good morning or good evening, everyone, depending on where you are joining. My name is Inosh Pereira. I'm Director Mobility Solutions at Integra. I would like to welcome all of you to this session on the release of Integra UEM Server 500. So before we start off with the product and the details of the release, let me quickly explain what's EMM to some of the people who are not familiar with the product and the solution space. So EMM stands for Enterprise Mobility Management. This divides into two areas. So one is mobile device management or MDM, and the other one is mobile application management. So mobile device management is where you remotely install configurations, policies, operations on devices to troubleshoot them, uh, to make sure they adhere to the security protocols of your organization, enforce certain rules on those devices, and make sure your corporate data does not get leaked out. Then mobile application management is for you to remotely install applications, uninstall applications, update new versions of the applications in your mobile device fleet. So both of these things are done to remotely manage your devices. So to do this, we have two different portals. So one is called the endpoint management portal. The other portals are called App Publisher and App Store. So the endpoint management portal is where your admins go in and onboard new devices such as Android, iOS, and Windows devices. This allows them to manage the users, their roles, and assign these devices to different groups, and also see where these devices are located, etc., and perform certain operations and policies on these devices. So this is what the endpoint management portal does. And there are two other portals. One is called the App Publisher. And the publisher allows your developers to publish new applications to the App Store. So these new versions that the developers publish are available in the App Store for your end users and for your admins to go in and install these applications on end users' devices. So these can be pushed as bulk operations so that you don't have to go into each device and push these updates. You can, of course, uninstall or reinstall the same application. So you might notice the product version that we are talking about here is called Entgra UEM Server 500. So if you have been with us over the past few years, you might notice we have gone through a couple of iterations or like a couple of different changes of the product naming. So all of these naming changes had certain reasoning behind them. So for example, when we started this space in late 2000s, MDM, mobile device management, was the significant word, or like the significant product that everyone was building. So this was done to manage mobile devices that the employees were bringing in those days to work. Then EMM came into the picture where people also wanted the apps to be managed, and IoT, some set of products of EMM also started supporting IoT along with Integra, where we support IoT devices. So in 2020s, UEM is the norm. So basically, all the vendors have to adhere to this, where unified endpoint management is the base standard. So UEM, what it means is your product is capable of supporting mobile devices, laptops, any internet connected devices. Could be a simple as a light bulb, or it could be a factory floor automation. So these things, all these internet connected endpoints can be controlled from one platform. So that's what unified endpoint management means. So with the unified endpoint management product releases of our product, we have also been recognized in 2011 by Coping the Pole as a product leader in this space. So as I mentioned, this product version is capable of managing mobile devices, their applications, and any kind of a endpoint. So this is why it falls under unified endpoint management category. So main changes from 4.10 to 5.0 are redesign UI. So we have redone the UIs and UX to give you a much more easier way to interact with the product and its portals. And we have also introduced certain analytics capabilities. So what this means is your decision makers certain KPIs and make decisions based on those about your device fleet. So this is a Grafana base, so we'll be improving on those dashboards in the later versions. We have also added improved support for troubleshooting from distance, remote troubleshooting, and we have added new policies and features for Android and Windows. And the main architectural change between the versions is that we have built the product stack on top of WSO2 API Manager 4.0, which is one of the latest versions of WSO2 API Manager. What this means is that we will be getting much more frequent updates to the product, along with security updates on a frequent, much more frequent basis compared to the earlier versions of the product. So this also brings in a lot of API management features if you have been using API management capabilities of our product. All right, so let's move on to the demo. So I'm going to focus on the product overall, as well as I'm going to explain some of the key improvements that we have done. So as you can see, there are different changes that happen related to the colors in the theme. And also you might notice all the tabs are now collapsed onto configurations and endpoints. So this will allow your users to easily see what are the configurations in the product and what are the things related to managing endpoints. So there is a dashboard added, as I mentioned earlier. So this is just one dashboard. There are a couple of other dashboards and certain reports with analytics. So I'm going to explain those later. But on the surface, this dashboard shows you what are the devices that you have, their statuses, their OS versions, the top applications that you have installed, what are your connectivity statuses, how the devices are grouped, etc. For you to get a quick overview of your device state. And when we go into all devices, the device inventory, it's like before with some UI improvements. So if I go into a device, there are certain changes that have gone in the individual device view with all the device information, operation logs of all the audit logs of what went on, the policy compliance statuses, the apps that are installed, remote session. If you are interested in doing a remote session, that will also be available, and all the operations that you can execute on the device is available here, where you can wipe, transfer files or message, lock it, wipe it, right? All these are available. And at the same time, you are able to see the file system of the device. So in this side, what you can see is the file system of the device, as well as you can view a remote file system such as an FTP server and transfer files from that FTP server to your local file system or pull files from your local file system to the remote server. You can also see a live feed of what's happening in the device, the battery levels, memory, Wi-Fi, signal strengths, and data usage. All these things can be viewed remotely for troubleshooting purpose. And also you are able to see can be accounts that the user has put to the device. So these can be removed from the device if they are not belonging to your organization. Those can be removed as well. Then if we go on to the other sections where you can enroll devices, the UI has been changed to make it more clearer, the enrollment steps. Right? And when it comes to policies, you can create new policies related to Android. Right? So with this, we have given certain new policies. Right? So these can be device theming policy, where we have given the ability to give the corporate branding. You can put your organization and the of these devices. So if I go into Windows policies, you can in the Windows policies, you can see new policies added such as application management, app locker, Bluetooth configuration management, Defender, where you can define your frequency, where you do virus updates and scanning, what to do when there's a breach, then app policies, BitLocker policies for your encryption, firewall policies to make sure your devices have the proper firewall rules, and message syncing policies, and bits policy for managing the bandwidth. So all these new policies are added in the new release. Then you also have the ability to create geofences, and you can also view the device location where your device fleet is at a given time. Right? And there are configurations. You can create users or user roles or user device groups, and these roles and users can come from your LDAPs or Active Directories. You can create certificates which you are installing to devices. You can also do certain configurations or platform configurations related to your environment. So I mentioned there are other analytics. So I'll go through a couple of these. So for example, if you go through the application management related analytics section. So in here you can see some of the apps that have got failed or like in progress state or completed state. So the application installation results can be seen here, and your top applications and install and uninstallation result can also be seen here. Then if I go into device assignments, assignment, you can see how the devices are grouped and devices are ungrouped. So the devices grouping state can be seen under this section. Then there's also the device connectivity report. It shows your connectivity status, how the devices are connected to different SIMs or mobile operators, how their signal strength varies, etc. Can be seen here. So if there are SIM changes over the time, those can also be seen in the report here. Then there are other such analytics like how what are the OS versions that you have in your device fleet, what are the device models that you have, certain runtime statistics about your device inventory, operation execution state related things, policy compliance related things. So all these things can be seen in the analytics section of the product. Then there is the App Store, and there's something called the App Publisher. So might already be familiar with these terms and this portal. So if I go into the application store portal, you can see there is a favorite section that's added. This will allow them to categorize and go through their favorite applications if you have a large set of applications. And if I go into one application and to the installation of applications, you might notice there are certain buttons or tick boxes that we have added. Uh, Particularly, if we talk about the block uninstallation, this will allow your end users to block uninstallation of certain applications, but allow optional applications to still be uninstalled if they wish. So that's a different use case. If you have such a use case where you have optional applications, you can use this feature. And when it comes to the app publisher, as you can see, we are supporting public enterprise applications, web apps, and Android enterprise apps. So the Android enterprise related changes are also in the latest version as well. So these changes were already rolled out to cloud users, but these are available for on-premise users as well in 5.0.0. So there is a section called service providers. What this means is if you have connected or developed applications with a login with an IDP, identity provider, such as WSO2 identity provider, we are capable of connecting to that identity store and pulling out the service providers related to the applications that you have in the application publisher. So if you develop an in-house application, and if you have certain service providers related to those applications, you don't have to go to the identity provider. You can manage all of those here itself. That's a unique feature which is not available in any of the other enterprise app stores or UEMs out there. All right, so these are the main changes that went into the product. And if you are using our API management portal to manage or develop your own experiences and your UIs, you might notice the API management portal has changed. This is due to the architectural change I discussed earlier. You can still go through the same API management experience and have all those features. And all these APIs are available in api.entgra.net for you to consume as Swagger. So you can build your custom experiences on top of our product, since all these different features that we discussed and all these UIs are exposed as REST APIs with both protected and hosted on a API management product. So that gives a brief idea of what are the changes that went in the product. So let me go back to the slide deck. So now that we have gone through the changes, you might be wondering when this will be available. So for on-premise customers, this will be available immediately with the download links that we have. For the cloud, we are planning to roll this out towards mid-February, probably on 15th February. The deployment options, if you are not familiar with our product, we have a cloud offering. We have an on-premise offering if you want to host this on your environment. And also we have a managed cloud offering if you want to have our engineers manage your private on-premise cloud. Then you might wonder why you should switch from the IoT server to the UEM server. So as explained in the demo, there are a whole lot of new UX and UI improvements that went in. And the analytics of the product has been upgraded, and new analytics capabilities have been added. And more updates, security updates and certain updates are being released for the product version that we are using now, since we have migrated to the latest API management product. So those are some of the main reasons that for you to migrate and use a much more faster, more powerful version of the Entgra UEM server. So the roadmap or what we are going to do in the future, um, the 5.20 version, which will come out in a couple of months, will have an ELK integration. Where we are publishing all the logs to ELK to do certain log analytics and improve the audit trail for the operations that are going on. And we will also add more Grafana-based dashboards and certain analytics to give you a better view of where your devices are and what you are doing with these devices. And for Windows, we are planning on adding ADMX based policy support. With that, we should be able to add 100 plus new policies that are supported with ADMX templates for Windows. And certain reporting modules, certain new reporting modules will be added, which allows you to customize reports. And also for the support and evaluating customers, there will be certain chatting capabilities that we are going to add, which allows you to chat with our engineers in real time. This is for evaluation customers, and they will also get support accounts to get their issues resolved faster. So using the product, so how to basically try this on. So you can go to our website, and under UEM, you can see a try it now option now. So with this, you can get access to either the on-premise version or the cloud version. So you will be registered here and you will get a cloud account where you can enroll your devices and try it out. So so that's it. So that's all that we have to discuss today. So if you have any questions, you can email it to this back to you with answers to your question.